dad told everyone I was worthless after my business failed. Now he's broke, sick, and begging to move in. I just sent him the number of a nursing home. My father made my business failure his favorite cautionary tale about why I'd never amount to anything. 5 years ago, my tech startup collapsed during the recession, taking my savings and confidence with it. While I was drowning in debt, Dad made sure every relative knew about my predictable failure. Always knew that computer nonsense would go nowhere, he announced at Thanksgiving that year. Should have listened to me about real estate. This became his routine, introducing me as his son who thought he could be the next Bill Gates but couldn't pay rent. Mom had died years earlier, leaving no buffer between his criticism and my growing isolation. He'd forward entry-level job listings with notes like, "More your speed." At family gatherings, he'd remind everyone how I'd gambled away my future. When my cousin got engaged, he wondered aloud if I could afford a gift. His Christmas present to me was a book called Bouncing Back from Failure, handed over with a smirk while relatives watched uncomfortably. I retreated from family events and focused entirely on rebuilding. I took a marketing job through a friend, lived in a studio apartment, and worked nights developing a practical business plan. Within 3 years, I'd paid off my debts and launched a profitable consulting service. I never shared these successes with my dad. His absence during my struggle had taught me everything about our relationship. Then karma arrived, perfectly packaged. My father, self-proclaimed financial genius, had been making increasingly risky investments. He'd remortgaged his house to fund businesses he didn't understand, convinced the rules of caution applied to everyone but him. When the market shifted, everything collapsed. The man who spent years mocking my financial decisions lost everything at 68. With developing health problems he could no longer afford to treat, my aunt called first. "Your dad's facing foreclosure," she said. "He's got heart problems and diabetes. Too proud to ask for help," she added, missing the irony completely. When his call finally came, his voice had lost its usual authority. "I've hit a temporary rough patch," he began. "Doctor says I shouldn't be alone with my condition." After an uncomfortable silence, he added, "I thought I could stay with you until things stabilize." "Dad, remember when you told everyone at Grandma's funeral that I was the family disappointment?" I asked quietly. His breathing was the only response. I hung up and immediately texted him the number of Sunshine Valley Nursing Home, the same facility where he dumped his own father years ago.